What is up, YouTube? It's Kingfisher745, and starting with PvP Season 15, I'm going to start bringing you a weekly PvP snapshot video. Basically, it's going to be a quick overview or a weekly review of my week in PvP. In this snapshot, I'll show you my most popular offensive and defensive team for that week. I'm going to show you each of them in action in one match each, and I'll also share some of the detailed records that I've been keeping. I know it hasn't been a full week, but I plan on doing this snapshot every Monday, so this is going to be week 1. Alright, so let's get started. First off, the main team that I've been using on offense is the same triple tactician setup that I've shown you in a previous video. So first, my agent has that tactician power armor. Then I'm using Magneto with Relentless and his fluxing and powered ISO 8. And lastly, I'm using Captain Marvel in her tactician costume with the quick and powered ISO 8. Then my weapon setup has been the Hand of Apocalypse, and that's going to handle anyone that has a resurrection. Then we have the Asgardian Tankard, and that's going to give all our tacticians an extra turn. Followed by the Neurotrope, one of the best quick action items there is. And then lastly, the Synthetic Cube. This team is currently 27-0 on offense. 27 wins, 0 defeats. Truthfully, they really haven't had that close of a call. I think only Captain Marvel has been KO'd. But I will admit that the early part of the PvP tournament is the easiest. We're facing an agent using the Empowered Generalist uniform, and I can tell you this is by far the most popular uniform on defense. More than half of all my offensive battles have been against this uniform. And not only that, it's also what I'm using on defense. By the way, this team up is made so much better because of Captain Marvel's Photon Blast and the rally that it grants. The fact that Captain Marvel went first for us means we're going to have a really optimal setup. If the enemy team can't exhaust you right away, it's going to be practically unbeatable. Just watch on my agent's turn. We're going to use the Neurotrope, which is a quick action item. This will grant us many buffs as well as epiphany and combat awareness. Next, this is where this team really clicks, and that's because of the Elixir of Recovery from the Asgardian Tankard. Once again, what this will do is give all my tacticians an immediate turn. But since it is a buff heal, because of rally, it is also a quick action. So we just got to use the Neurotrope, and then also the Asgardian Tankard as a quick action. This gives Magneto and Captain Marvel an extra turn, and then my agent's going to have his regular turn plus his extra turn. So we have 4 attacks in a row. It would be practically impossible for us to lose. Magneto does incredible damage with his heavy metal attack, and then we'll finish their agent off with the Hand of Apocalypse. After this attack, I'm going to get started on Pestilence Beast. Otherwise, he can be a nuisance and kind of slow the battle down. At this point, we still have 2 more attacks coming. It seems outrageous. Then on top of that, we can use a Kree Strike and gain Kree Speed. Plus, when Magneto's magnetic field is broken, we also gain an extra turn. And speaking of Magneto, we're going to finish off Beast with an Electromagnetic Blast. So now it's time for Captain Marvel to attack once again, and we'll start out by using her Photon Blast. You can just continually use this to give you rally, and if you're asking what's the point of this, well, you can still use the Light Fantastic as a quick action. So anyways, one more attack from Steve Rogers and he's probably done. However, he did exhaust this now, so that's pretty annoying, but we do fire back with a Photon Blast. This match is all but over, so we're going to be looking at my defensive setup, and then I'll use them on offense. It's going to be another team that you've seen pretty recently, and that's from the Dragon's Foot review video. This team is pretty aggressive and quite vicious on defense. So this is the defensive team I've been going with pretty much for this entire season so far. My agent is using the Empowered Generalist costume, and he has the morale boost, Inspiring and Powered ISO 8. This setup allows me to use Quicksilver as a scrapper, and then I can put Offensive Fighter, also known as Aggressive and Powered ISO 8, on him. Quicksilver in this setup does an extreme amount of damage, and it's capable of catching certain teams off guard. And then we have the Juggernaut. And right now I have close and powered ISO 8 on him, and I threw the Skull Thumper on him. So that's the surprising E-ISO. Then for my setup I'm using the Synthetic Cube, the Dragon's Foot, that's the most important item, and I'm really happy I was able to pick it up. Then next I'm using the Neurotrope, but I may switch this out for the Mystic at some point. I'm not really sure quite yet. And lastly, I'm using the Orfrost Mace. Basically, I may be able to absorb some damage, and then when I do die, I'll give Quicksilver sacrificial strength to make his damage even more insane. Now this opponent is pretty tough, and he's using the Cosmic Cardinal, as well as a Scrapper Quicksilver. He's got that ever popular and powered Generalist armor. And speaking of that, the most popular equipment that's been used this season, at least according to my data, at level 300 on defense, is number 1, the Synthetic Cube. I believe it was used by 18 of 27 opponents. Next we have the Scroll of Angelob, followed by the Warbringer Axe, and then the Mystic. The Neurotrope, however, was a close 5th. And then one other note that I do want to share with you is the top heroes being used are Magneto and Quicksilver, and that's in his blue Generalist costume. However, in all, with his Generalist and Scrapper combined, I've faced about 12 teams with Quicksilver. That's out of 27, so he's by far the most popular. There have been a lot of teams with Magneto as well though. So that's how it currently looks at level 300. Now as far as my defensive team, they are currently at 50% win rate, so they've got 19 wins and 19 losses. Just maybe 2 hours ago they were at 54%, so they have dropped, and they were around 60% the other day. So yeah, today's been a pretty bad day for them, but as long as they stay at 50%, I'm pretty happy with it. One of my biggest concerns revolves around anti-melee teams. So for example, Moonstone or Nico, and that's why I may add the Mystic. I have a really high damage potential, so maybe one round without being able to be immobilized or put other debuffs on, such as Disoriented, maybe I could bump up that win percentage a little bit. It's something that I will look into, and I'm definitely keeping track this season, better than I ever have before. And it's in large part thanks to a friend of the channel named Jonathan. But now let's go ahead and finish this video out strong. So we're going to use a Neurotrope, and then I'm going to try to finish their Horsemen of Pestilence. Basically what we have to attack is the Dragon's Foot, and this thing is pretty awesome, especially if it gains a follow-up attack. It appears as if it's going to do enough damage. So there we go, we did almost 45,000 damage, and just imagine if we had a follow-up attack. And now here goes Quicksilver with some huge tag team damage. He doesn't even care if he's stunned, and not only that, he's going to hit twice with it, once because of quickness, and once because of combat awareness. And the next counterattack is going to finish the battle. So here comes a Sunday Punch for 61k. And that's going to be it for our first weekly PvP snapshot. Make sure to tune in next Monday for week 2. Lastly, I want to thank you all for watching, and ask you to please like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, good luck, and take care.